Hello, everybody. How are we this morning? I am joined today by the illustrious Dr. Dino. Hello, friend.
Yes, hello. How's it going?
Great. Well, great-ish. As you can see, Justin is not here. Had a little bit of a catastrophe at home. He will not be joining us, unfortunately, but keep him very much in your thoughts and hearts. It's going through a rough morning. Let's put it that way. Doc, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Howdy there, folks. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am Dr. Dino. Not an actual doctor. The name is entirely a play on everyone's favorite fraud. But for anyone who doesn't know, Kent Hovind. I'm a volunteer fossil preparator. I have a degree in geology, and hopefully soon I can get paid for the work I do. Or at least that's the
And you've got a dig coming up.
Yes, I do. This summer, actually, in a week from today, I'll be headed out to Wyoming, and I'm gonna try and find some dinosaur fossils that have, unfortunately, very little documentation. So hopefully,
what are
I
you trying to find out there?
Well, I am hoping to find the original dig site that some sauropod remains came from. For anyone who doesn't know dinosaurs, those are your long-necked dinos.
Okay. See, using my big noggin. That's what I thought. Very cool. So, is there a specific species that you're trying to find, or an intermediary sort of species?
Well, I wish we had it down to a species. Right now, it's just down to a sauropod question mark.
Gotcha. Okay. So broad sauropod. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The expedition is all about just finding the original site.
Gotcha. So by original site, is that how are we determining that?
Well, we do have some data on it, fortunately, just from the fossil itself and the plaster jacket it was inside of.
Oh, so you already have
a bit of
a
information.
hunk. Are you trying to find the rest of it?
Yeah, we have one bone.
Oh, okay.
We have one bone
Picking it
and
up
a
now.
plaster jacket with a. Oh, what was that?
I'm picking up what you're putting down now.
We have one bone and a plaster jacket with some rock inside. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it kind of isn't, but it's enough to give us information about the site. So it should make it relatively easy to make sure we have the right site if we can find it.
Gotcha. So we're trying to find the rest of the critter. That one bone is in all of Wyoming?
Fortunately, not in Wyoming. I have it down to about a 2 square mile area, but I don't want to get into it beyond that. I will get into it more later when I make a video on it.
Gotcha. Okay. It's like, why is he being so sneaky? Okay, now I understand.
Well, unfortunately, fossil poachers are a thing, too.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So is it lots of competition in the dino space?
Not exactly a lot of competition, more so that just there are people who will collect fossils and sell them for profit. And
Like a black
I
market
mean, I'm
thing.
not. Yes and no, not quite black market. Kinda. There are black market collectors, but
Mhm.
it, the the main worry is like they may make a deal with some local ranch owners and use some ambiguity on property lines to
Mhm.
sneak in, grab the fossils, and then sell them while saying they're from private land, which has happened in the past.
Interesting. Hmm. So what's a famous like dino controversy?
Arguably, the most famous one is probably Sue. Sue the T Rex, who is now at the Field Museum, but for a long time, that was up in the air.
Like she was lost?
Well, she was collected from private land. Uh,
Mhm.
I'd have to review the details of the case, but I believe the owners gave permission for the crew to dig.
Mhm.
They, because of how mineral and property rights work in that area,
Mhm.
they didn't have the capacity to give permission.
Mhm.
Could be wrong on that though. Another really
Interesting.
famous one is Scotty, who actually is another T Rex who was sold very recently to private collectors, and a lot of paleontologists and paleontology enthusiasts were not happy about that sale because Scotty is a really nice specimen.
Mhm. Okay. Very cool. I didn't know that there was so much drama in the dino world. This is my universal sign for
Well,
dino.
but, well, when you're in a field that gets about $2 million worth of funding annually, um, split among several tens of thousand people,
Yeah, that's
it,
tiny.
it gets
Ooh,
competitive.
yeah, that is teeny. My goodness.
Yeah, a lot of
Yikes.
kids like dinosaurs. A lot of adults
Yeah,
don't care,
right.
which
I
is
don't
sad.
know if the audience can see my I wore for this interview. Um,
Yes, thank you for
I was, I
caring
was
about dinosaurs.
I was trying to represent little fangirl moment, you know. So I'm trying to see if Al wants to come on and say hi to us.
Oh, make this a bit of an open
Just
room.
yeah. Since Justin's not here, I can when the cat's away, the mice shall play. So maybe I can misbehave a little bit.
I
Um,
mean, if you
Justin
want help
Justin
on
keeps
that,
me
I
on a
can share a link in my chat.
yes, please go ahead. Yeah,
Sure.
we can make this
You'll have to post
a
that
little
in
bit
the private chat for me to copy.
yeah a little bit of a party. Let's see. Now I have to figure out. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. Putting into the private.
You, Al is not able to right now.
I see that. Well, shucks. Yeah, I posted the link. So if you want to add a person or two, and then we can get to the tableau. Do the do the fancy thing. I'll do my Vanna White, my best Vanna White. For those of you who don't know who Vanna White is, because I'm an old fucker. Oh man, yeah, she was a pretty lady
Wheel of Fortune.
that revealed letters on Wheel of Fortune, which is also a very old show. Jesus, I'm
It's my grandparents'
this close
favorite
to
show.
40 and it's kicking me in the ass. Really, I was always that's hilarious. I was always a Jeopardy girl. And Alex Trebek.
My grandparents loved, well, my grandmother loved Jeopardy. My grandpa didn't really, he didn't mind it, but I don't think it was his favorite show.
I have a plethora of useless information trapped inside my brain. So generally did pretty good at Jeopardy. Every once in a while there'd be like a funky category that I was like, all the sports ball ones, that was, do not give a shit. It couldn't pay me enough money to give a shit. But there's anybody that wants to practice, there's always on Joe's channel. Azo has trivia night on Wednesdays, so definitely should check that out. PC, do your thing in there, baby girl.
Well, maybe if you're interested, after we do the normal thing for your show, we could do Dinosaur Jeopardy.
I don't know how well I do at Dino Jeopardy. I'm rusty on my dino names. I had a second cousin who was very interested in dinos, and I think she was probably on the spectrum and had kind of an obsession about it, and so I did a little bit of looking up that kind of thing to be able to chat with her, because that's all she would talk about. And so I got pretty good at it, but that was like 20 years ago, so I'm a little rusty.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I am also on the
very long
spectrum,
names,
which might explain why I'm so dino obsessed.
I find dinos fascinating. The fact that the human evolution and stuff like that to me is interesting. Obviously I love watching like Gutsy Gibbon and things like that. I love watching Erica talk about just how we came to be who we are. But just the idea that there were critters running around here that were like, it blows my mind. When I first went to the Smithsonian when I was a little kid, and I saw that great, like the woolly mammoth, saw that great big thing, and then little dinos and stuff. I was like, these things were living, breathing beasts that were running around, and who
they're real. They're not just in textbooks.
Right, exactly. And it was and I didn't grow up in like a young earth creationist or fundamentalist. I grew up in a very science savvy. My dad was a dentist, my mom was a nurse. Like we were, very science savvy. But it just, you see them in books and stuff, and it's like, okay, you take that as true. It's like it's in a science book. It must be true. So you take it as true, but then you don't really realize like what it is exactly you're looking at until you see like an articulated skeleton of this massive beastie that, again, universal sign for dino, that was roaming this earth, which did not look like our current earth. And all of that it's sort of mind-boggling to me, but in like all the best ways. Not in a doubting sort of way, like, wow, isn't this cool kind of way, yeah. Yeah, I liked the Triceratops. I think was my favorite.
Not a bad pick.
Sort of a I guess sort of cliche. I guess a lot of people.
Hey, it's a really cool animal. I don't blame you.
Like it's got and that swoopy thing, and yeah, it's very, very interesting. And then the one with the big sail, like that one, which isn't really a dinosaur, I think.
Spinosaurus or Dimetrodon?
Dimetrodon.
Okay, yeah. Not a dinosaur, honorary dinosaur.
See? Use it.
And actually, I would kind of like to shout out, if anyone wants to learn more about Dimetrodon, I just got a notification that a channel I follow just released a video on it.
Oh, do tell.
Just started here. It's the Skeleton Crew if you want to look them up, but do that after this show, por favor.
Yes. Skeleton Crew. I like that. That's funny.
There are a fun
That's a
bunch.
good name for the channel. That's great. I love it. Let's see. I'm gonna post the linkies in here. Because it's a dino party. Sorry. Trying
No, you're fine.
compose myself.
Go
I
ahead.
love talking about dinos. Makes me feel like a little kid again. It's very fun.
Well,
what's your favorite dino?
So, that's a really tough choice. That's a really tough choice. I mean, I guess I'll probably go with my childhood pick, which was Carnotaurus.
I don't know what that looks like.
Imagine a T-Rex, but with even shorter arms and horns on its head.
How do you spell it?
A Carno.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep, there you go. It was the main villain in Disney Dinosaur in 2000.
Very cool. Let me see if I can.
I mean, of course they oversized it, but I think it's still a really cool dinosaur.
That is very interesting. That's a big boy.
I'm very interested to eventually talk about it in a series I'm doing with some friends.
It does have such tiny arms.
They are almost entirely vestigial arms.
Yeah, that's incredible. Do you know the science behind that? Like I've heard something about there was a theory that maybe because when they were fighting each other that their arms were being ripped off, and so they just kind of got smaller and smaller because they were a liability. I heard that theory somewhere, and I thought that was ridiculous. Do you have a better one?
I mean, that's a possible pressure for it, but we don't know exactly why they lost their arms, but we do know that so this lineage, as they evolved, their heads became very robust early on. Like they had very strong heads, weak jaws, weirdly enough, but big teeth. It seems they were using their heads for, hunting. Well,
like
maybe they had that actually, especially with those horns.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they were using their heads to hunt. They didn't need their arms, so they just dwindled away.
Interesting. Yeah, that's new Tolkienomics. So new theory is sex latching. Interesting.
It is what? Oh, yeah. So the possible reason why they may have kept the arms is for holding on to each other. Let's say in the bedroom.
Right. Yeah.
Holding on to each other in the bedroom.
A little happy huggy squeeze. Yeah.
Well, it's a valid idea.
Well, yeah. I suppose. I guess kind of how snakes still have that where their little hip bones used to be, and they sort of do a grabby sort of business. And I think whales have a little grabby business too, where their little hips used to be.
Whales don't. The males are prehensile.
I thought they had a little. I thought some had a this universal sign for grabby.
No, whale. Look it up. Dancing around the.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, just look at us dancing around the YouTube censors.
Right. YouTube will never know what this is.
No.
Ooga, ooga. I've lost my mind. Anywho's, so you want to get to the tableau and see what we got going on here?
Yeah, sounds like fun. Sounds like fun.
All right. We'll do that. We'll do. Everybody will have to forgive me. Justin usually does this, and so I'm not the best with the technologies. But we will. I'll do the thing. Okay.
Oh,
Our illustrious tableau. Doc, go ahead and pick a slide, 1 through 5. The last one is our little topic cleanser that we have to leave us all feeling happy and relaxed, and because you never know what kind of clusterfuck will be under the tableau. So go ahead.
Okay. I do like teaching people, so how about we pick number 4? See where that leads us.
All right, number 4. Let's hope this works.
Asa itself is like a Hebrew word for, I think, deceive. Something like that.
Word.
Yeah, hold on. Let me Google it right now. No, I swear.
Oh, this conspiracy.
So if you think about it, yo, there was a whole interview. You know those Congress things where they debate shit?
Okay, yeah.
They wanted to call out like NASA and the space industry because they were cracking down on so much footage that looks fake of space.
Yeah.
With the green screen, and apparently, yo, this is what they say. Like all of the space stuff, they shot it in like an underwater tank. So they shoot it in like a huge pool, and they put VFX on it to make it look as
So
like
that's
it's dark.
how they get. Oh,
That's how they're floating and shit. What's fucked, bro? If you look closely at some of the space footage, there's bubbles.
Really?
There's bubbles, bro.
This guy messed up in the editing, bro.
He's like, yeah.
I don't even know what was
Okay.
happening.
That was
Bro?
worth something to someone, bro. Ah,
It's like it's a podcast full of just like, so yeah, bro, like, and the bubbles, man, how do these people
it's like Joe
breathe
Rogan recording his
with
first
that
conspiracy
few
theory.
brain cells rubbing together? Like, I just can't imagine going through life being that stupid. Maybe that's
I can imagine
unkind.
some people.
I literally can't imagine it. I don't know if it's an autistic stopgap that I have somewhere, but like I legitimately can't, because I have a problem where I assume that everybody has the same, like, they know the same stuff as I do. I forget that people don't. I have to remind myself that not everybody is in my head. And so it really is difficult for me to like comprehend being that dumb.
I mean, fair, but I don't know. Like these guys, I don't want to assume too much, but these guys look young, stoned out of their minds.
Yeah.
Like this is baby's first conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That, like NASA footage and all
like
is
that.
fake because NASA translates as deceiver.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
it's the National Aeronautics and Space Agency. It's I hate it. I hate it. It's so stupid.
Right. That's what I mean. Like how I just, trying to get their brain cells to just rub a little bit faster together. Just come on, you can do it. It's yeah. but yeah, they're underwater and you can see the bubbles, and I just I watch a lot of, well, not a lot, I won't say. I watch modern day debate, and I watch it when, because Justin is a moderator on there, so I go to support him and then also to shit talk and chat because I am a edgelord. So in my spare time, like what the fuck? But you see these, like, was the moon landing real, and the flat Earth debates, and just the overall sort of idiocy that is in our, because it's a small yet significant portion of our population that does not believe the moon landings, plural, happened, because it happened not just once but 6 times, and
across
then
several different countries.
Right, and yeah, that was we did 6 just the U.S. and put people, like, there have been other, like, lunar, like, modules and stuff, but we put 6 humans, 6 times we put humans on the moon, and so, which I consider myself a smart person. I did not realize that there were that many times that we put humans up there. Like, that was just, like, I embarrassingly, way more recently than I care to admit, found that out.
I mean, if it helps, I just found that out today.
Really?
Here's my thing. I like to look at the ground. I'm not a space person, and that's
Fair enough.
It's never been an interest of mine. Well, I mean, it's been kind of an interest. I've played Kerbal Space Program and I learn a bit about it, but, like, geology is my fascination. It always has been. Yeah,
it was just something that I never, like, thought to know, or that I really. I don't know if it's not that I didn't care, because that is fascinating history, but it was just, until I was watching these debates on Modern Day Debate, it never occurred to me to even. I guess that's the benefit of silliness like Modern Day Debate, is that I would not know as much as I know about the globe and space, like the geologic column, and when debating, like, Noah's flood and stuff like that. Like, I would not know as much as I know about that stuff had it not been for those silly debates. So in that way, they're quite beneficial. I mean, it's fun just to watch the clusterfuck, it's me anyway, to get in the mud a little bit with that. But yeah, I sent a super chat in the other day, and when they were talking about the moon landing, and I was like, why would NASA lie 6 times? Like, what's the point? Like, why the grand conspiracy, I think, is the point of this short. Like, what's the point? If they're spending all of this money and they're doing all of this, like, shady stuff with the Jewish space lasers and all the, the insanity that goes around, like, what is the purpose of that? And if
what I want to know is, where does the rocket go?
Right?
Because you can see the rockets taking off. Even if you don't think they're going to the moon, they're definitely going to space.
They're doing something.
Space,
yeah.
Well, if they're able to go to space, then what's stopping them?
Yeah,
going to the moon.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, to get more into, your field with, I don't know if you watch any of the Noah's flood type debates, or engage with those, like, young Earth creationist types on YouTube. I assume you do.
I have a few times.
Yeah.
I dabble.
Right. Just a little bit. But that, again, it's like, what's the point of the conspiracy? Have you ever gotten a satisfactory answer to that?
to disprove God, and then I just bring up all of the Christian paleontologists.
But I mean, for the conspiracy, like, have you ever asked these young Earth creationists, like, you know, if because you hear a lot about them saying that like scientists are covering up the truth or something like that, like what is it? Is it really just as simple as that? Is that scientists are trying to cover up that God exists?
It boils down to a couple things. Yeah, they're trying to disprove God. They're trying to spread Satanism because science is satanic, and that
Naturally.
just they're trying to lie to the people and trick them and make them go to hell. They're not doing it intentionally. No, it's not intentional. It's just a natural byproduct of what they're doing. It's not intentional. Definitely not. It's painful, but they don't have anything. They have no ground to stand on. I mean, big surprise, I'm sure, but
right. Yeah. What's one of the more insane theories that you've heard from young Earth creationists about the flood?
Let's see. I mean, honestly, just that all of the rock layers were deposited at the same time and by the same processes. And this is part of why I like to talk about geology to people, because otherwise people don't look into it at all. Like, we have recreated almost every depositional setting in the laboratory. It's not hard to do. You just need to have a basic understanding of particle physics. And I'm not talking like atoms or the pieces of atoms. I mean just like dust. How does
particles.
Dust move?
Yeah,
How does sand move? Like stuff you can hold
particles
in your
you
hand.
can see.
Yeah, understand how that moves, and you can reconstruct almost any geologic feature. You just need heat, time, and motion. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
when Kent Hovind he's got his bunches of rocks and sand and stuff, he's got that in a little tube and he flips it over and it's like, this is how it works, except that what he's describing isn't actually what's being shown on, like, the thing that he shows actually disproves what he's saying. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before.
Oh, yes. Kent, in my completely unbiased opinion, he's just gotten lazy in his old age. He's just grifting the people that have followed him since they were kids. Like, I don't think he really cares anymore. He doesn't care about saving souls. He doesn't care about truly spreading the gospel like, a preacher. I think he's just... and his own ego.
Naturally. Yeah, for sure. The man is not humble like his Jesus. It's very unchristian.
Nope.
All right. Well,
is it Kenneth Copeland? Who's that one really crazy preacher?
This one, the always pointing and who's got the eyes that you can see Satan underneath his eyes. That man is
with the laugh that just feels like he's wearing a human suit.
If I were to believe in lizard people, he'd be it. For sure.
Ha 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 ha. He's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, let's see. Yes,
what is next? What is the next pain?
Right.
I chose the last one. Do you want to choose the next one?
Hang on. There we go. Sorry.
No
Everybody
problem.
saw the sausage being made. It's fine.
Oh my.
Yeah, go ahead and pick the next one.
Oh. I like dinosaurians, so how about 3? I think dinosaurians are a fun,
The Sahara
silly
Desert
idea.
has what's called a prevailing wind pattern. The wind almost always blows
speak
the
of the
same
devil.
way. This creates a serious problem. The hot air comes off the desert, kills the trees next door, and that area becomes desert. The process is called desertification. You can read about it in an earth science book. Sahara Desert has been studied very carefully. They did a long study on this and said, you know what, folks, the Sahara Desert is probably about 4,000 years old. That's when it started growing. Egypt used to be fertile land all over the place. Okay, well then I have a question. If the earth is millions of years old, why don't we have a bigger desert someplace? Why would the biggest desert on the planet be less than 4,000 years old?
Okay. It's not a bad question. It's just that it's coming from Kent.
Right.
Like, if it was anyone else, I'd be all happy, like, oh, that's a really interesting question. Here we da. But it's Kent, so it's agony.
Right. So break it down for us.
Sure. So deserts are complicated. Most deserts are formed as the result of what's called a rain shadow. Rain shadows are, as you can probably imagine, areas where it doesn't rain very much. And they can have a bunch of causes. In the western U.S., the major rain shadow that causes a lot of desert out west is caused by the Rocky Mountains. The mountains condense air that goes over them, causing the air to drop water like rain and snow, and doesn't leave much else for the desert. Other places, like the Sahara, are in areas with a lot of evaporation because they're right on the equator. The equator runs through the Sahara, right?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yes. Or it's like just above it, but yeah.
It's nearby. That means we have a lot of evaporation going on. And when water evaporates from the ocean, it goes up, up, up really fast. And then, since more water is being evaporated all the time, it's generating these wind currents that carry the water towards the poles. Now, depending on the average global temperature, the water will take a certain amount of time to come back down a bit and start condensing and then dropping. Since the planet has been steadily warming in the last few thousand years, especially in the last couple centuries, that rain shadow has been growing. Now, this same rain shadow is part of why Italy is fairly dry. It's part of why Spain is pretty dry. Southern France, areas like that, they don't get as much rain as their northern neighbors. And Africa is the same way. A place like Kenya gets a lot more rain than a place like Morocco.
Right.
Now, normally, in a couple thousand years, based on climate models, the global temperature would start decreasing. And as it starts decreasing, that rain shadow would start shrinking, and the Sahara would become fertile again as we head towards another ice age, like another proper ice age. But that might not happen anymore, so the Sahara might keep growing as the planet's temperature grows, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So because it's already, it's basically spans all of, that big chunk of Africa. Is it going to expand this way too?
It's going to keep expanding south. Okay. But there is a maximum extent, because eventually the water does have to come back down. Different plants, different like animal activities can help reduce the spread of the desert. There's a lot of factors involved in this. It's not simple.
Right.
It's nowhere near simple. And that's part of the problem I have with Kent. He takes extremely complicated situations and just presents them in their most stupid form.
Right. Yeah.
Like their most broken
Oversimplified.
down, borderline useless form. Like
Mhm.
desert grow, why it grow? If it grow at this rate,
Yeah.
then it must be problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Kent
Yeah,
Big
he-
Brain
he-
worship.
Yeah. La, 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 la. Yeah, I find.
Did
find
any of that make any sense, or was I just I
no,
talking?
to me it made
there?
perfect sense. Yeah, to me it made perfect sense. Hopefully to our audience too. Sound off below.
Hopefully, if anyone's unclear on any of that, please do tag us and ask.
Yeah. Ask away. We will answer questions. That's why I brought the big brains. Because
I will not say that about myself, but thank you.
I will. I'm smart, damn it. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and pick the next one. Let's see. I figured out how to do the tableau without showing the sausage this time. Okay, so let's see.
Remember,
I think
kids, always
I-
ask before you show someone your sausage.
Yeah. Get enthusiastic consent. Yes, absolutely. I will pick number 2.
Dos.
So the whole idea now, they want to destroy the American family. They want to destroy it. You look at BLM.
Oh, no.
What was their whole Bible was get rid of God, get rid of the nuclear family. They equated pregnancy to slavery. I go, really? So if women just stopped having babies altogether, we have what left on this earth? About 100 years total before there's no more humans left on the planet. It's weird, this battle that's going on. And there's so much evil in there. There's so much evil in Hollywood. They do not do the movies that I do, or like the Irwin brothers do. They don't do movies like that anymore, because they don't want movies that have love and hope and faith and redemption and freedom. They don't want that. They want control of your life over everything.
Isn't that what he's advocating for? Is control over my life and my ability to have or not have babies? And
I mean, it
Black
sounds
Lives
like
Matter.
it-
Do you know how overwhelmingly Christian Black people are? Like,
at least in the U.S. Yeah, who is this?
yeah. I don't know. I was. It might be somebody that Justin had more. It says in the corner, it says First Liberty Live. So I'm assuming some kind of maybe Liberty University or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. It
I don't know
sounded
who
like
this
he
person
made,
is.
or he said he made movies or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know who the person is, but I can certainly speak to the asinine bullshit he's saying.
Yeah, there's a lot there. That is dense.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, BLM wants to undo the nuclear family. Maybe if you stop putting Black people in jail, they would have a chance to have a nuclear family. Like, maybe, if our criminal justice system wasn't so shitty, maybe if there were more access to better health care for minority people so that they can get birth control, then you wouldn't have to worry about all kinds of things and abortions and all that. It's like, if you don't want people to have abortions, then keep them from getting pregnant, because people are still going to have sex.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
People are saying
Radical.
it's Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, okay.
I've heard the name. I don't know.
I've heard the name.
him.
Yeah, he did Hercules and the Andromeda series. Okay, I do remember that name. I don't know a thing about him, but I do remember that name.
Yeah,
and
now I
don't-
do, and it's not great.
and I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm definitely not a fan. Yeah, what are
Part of me
your
wants to
thoughts?
go through
Because I
this
have
point
plenty.
by well, part of me wants to go through this point by point, but the other part of
Mhm.
me feels like we'll be here for 3 or 4 hours if we do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Do you want me to play it again?
Uh,
think
yeah,
I can
I'd
pause
say
it.
play it again really
Okay.
quick.
Okay. Let's do this.
Oh, he did the God's Not Dead movies. That tracks.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense now. Okay.
The whole idea now, they want to destroy the American family. They want to destroy
Tell me
it.
when you want to
You
stop.
look at BLM. What was their
I
whole
guess I'll-
Bible was get rid of.
Okay, so their goal is destroy the American family. Well, the American family is a nice pipe dream, but doesn't
Right.
really hold up to anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just let people have the families they want. Let them have what works for them, as long as it's not hurting anybody, and all the adults are consenting adults. Like, it's fine. As for get rid of God is their whole Bible. That's a phrase. And
Yeah,
like you,
that's a hell of a phrase.
a lot of African Americans are Christian.
They're
Like,
overwhelmingly Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, like that makes no sense.
Yeah. Agreed. It's
Like,
extremely racist and very ignorant of our country's demographics for sure.
yeah, the BLM movement was mostly about police brutality and what's commonly called institutional racism. That is
Racism. Yeah.
prejudices against minorities in government structures and policies. That was the main thrust of it. It wasn't religious. Some may have used religion as a rallying cry. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that goes back to MLK and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a lot of preachers that were involved in the height of the movement for sure.
that doesn't surprise me, and as long as they're advocating for human rights, I support it.
Yeah.
But it's just
Well, shit, Al Sharpton was out there.
How to be so ignorant?
Yeah. Yeah. Al Sharpton was out, with the lawyer for George Floyd. He was out there on MSNBC like every day, with also the King the Third, I think it was out there with him all the time, like during the height of that. So yeah, there were preachers abound. So the fact that he missed all of that is, you gotta have your head firmly planted all the way up your asshole to have not known that was, that BLM was I wouldn't say a Christian movement or anything like that, but it was certainly had lots of Christians that were involved in it for sure.
Mm-hmm. And just like, even if you disagree with their methods, and this is me trying to extend an olive branch, even if you disagree with their methods, like, they're fighting for human rights. Like,
right, the right to live.
That's not
literally
a great thing to be advocating against.
Yeah. Totally agree. Okay, next point.
God, get rid of the nuclear family. They equated pregnancy to slavery. I go, really?
I'll comment on that. Yeah, using my body without my permission is slavery. Sorry, it just is. I am
No
beheld to a clump of cells that evidently you want to give more rights than the living, breathing person that's in front of you. You know, they want to go on and on about how, you know, life is sacred. How about mine? Why isn't my life? Why is that more sacred than I am? Like that, you know, because I had sex, then that makes me less worthy of respect and autonomy and rights. Like, I mean, is it really that baseless? Like that you know, somebody boinked and therefore, you know, now I'm not a person anymore. Like, fuck that noise.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, my voice probably gives it away. I am male. I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. I hope.
You don't either anymore.
But
Don't regret it.
yeah, fair. But that said, I am the big brother to 3 little sisters.
Mhm.
I want them to have the opportunity, if they want it, to not be pregnant. Like, I
Absolutely.
want them to have that choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I the day after Roe got knocked down, I called my OBGYN and scheduled for a tubal ligation.
I don't blame you.
Because I live in North Carolina. We've got a governor who I love, who is a Democrat, who has been fighting all of these Republicans that are bombarding him. Like, he's had to use his veto power so many times, because he's been bombarded with these ridiculous propositions for laws and shit that from Republicans that are trying to put us back into the 1800s. And he's coming up on it's his election cycle this go around, and I am terrified. But because I do not trust Republicans, and I don't trust our democracy to remain intact, I don't trust that. I can't bet on North Carolina coming through and not voting for a Christian nationalist fuckwad. Because I'm not only do I not want children, but my mental health, I would not be able to stop, because the medications that I take would be detrimental to the healthy existence of a fetus. So I couldn't, and so I'd have to go off my meds to get pregnant, and that would then cause me to go into a very dangerous and life-altering spiral. So, like, having kids for me would be deadly. It would ultimately be deadly. And I also, then with when Roe got shot down, then Clarence Thomas was writing his opinions that, birth control was going to be next. And I was like, nope, fuck that. Fuck all y'all. I'm doing this I went under serious and invasive surgery because I'm scared of these fuckers. That's what it's come to. And it's not just me. When I went back for my my pre-op meeting with my OBGYN, she said that 500 people had called, all wanting appointments for tubal ligations and to get IUDs put in and shots, instead of just like regular birth control, stuff that lasts longer. Stuff that are a little bit more permanent, that 500 of her patients called wanting to get this shit done after Roe fell. It's not just me.
Yeah.
Women all over the place are scared to death. And I hate people like that.
But I understand, but I hate that has to be, I hate. Ugh.
Yeah. That I had to permanently do something to my body to keep myself safe from assholes like this. It's infuriating.
So if women just stopped having babies altogether, we have what left on this earth? About 100 years total before there's no more humans left on the planet. It's weird, this battle that's going on. And there's so much evil in there. There's so much evil in Hollywood. They do not do the movies that I do. or like the Irwin brothers do. They don't do movies like that anymore because they don't want movies that have love and hope and faith and redemption and freedom. They don't want that. They want control of your life over everything.
Is he not advocating for control of everybody's life?
I mean, it kind of sounds like it, but also, does this man not know that Hallmark movies are still being made? Like, the Hallmark movies will never die somehow.
What point?
Like, every movie is the same, but they're all a hit.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. Now, I will say this with the caveat that I could be speaking completely out of my ass. I'm talking from what I have heard. Different groups of people are, how do I put this? Based on polling data, from what I've heard, African Americans are less likely to get married, but they if they have kids, they're likely to still stay together. It's just they're less likely to get married, and that's their choice. Like, that's a lifestyle choice. That's
Right.
They're still raising the kids. They still want the best for their kids. It's
Yeah, it's not like people are having babies and they're just like, fuck this,
yeah. No, they're not tossing them out on the street. They're still parents. They still care.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like my parents weren't married when I was born. And they divorced a couple of years after, but just, you don't have to be married to be a parent, and you don't have to be married to be good parents.
Right. Yeah. And my parents have been married for almost 50 years. And some days I'm like, why? I honestly think that they're still together because they wouldn't know. They're so codependent at this point that they wouldn't know what to do without each other. My dad specifically he would turn into a puddle. Like, he can't do anything by himself anymore. He's getting a little bit better because my mom has sort of forced him to, like, you need to learn how to do things. I might not always be around. You never know when shit, might happen. And so, he looks at his little iPad and he's like, I don't know how it works. And my mom sort of forces him to do stuff. And he was always a consummate sort of learner type person. But then he became sort of a troglodyte and my mother had to sort of put a stop to that. But yeah, like, even parents that have been together for, ages and ages, they're not perfect. They fuck up. Like, it's not.
Nobody's perfect.
Right. And to think that, one size fits all, everybody needs to be in a nuclear family. Like, it's just asinine. It's stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
Again, like I said, my parents got divorced, so I, growing up, basically had two families, and different families work in different ways, and some, I will say, some ways are I liked better than others, but like, there's more than one way to be a family.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
as long as you love each other and you're there for each other, like, you do you. Yeah. And even if you don't get along, you do you. I don't want to make it sound like you have to love your family.
Right. Yeah. I was about to say, I have a very strained relationship with my family. And so my found family is very important to me. That is YouTube community. There are lots of people on here that I consider, like Justin is sort of the brother I always wanted. There's tons of people in chat that I consider my very good friends. I think of those people as being my found family, and I reject the notion that you need to be a mom and a dad and 2.5 kids and a golden retriever to be legitimate as a family. So.
Agreed. I hope I didn't sound like I was saying that.
Oh, no, not at all. No. Okay. Well, 2, 3, and 4 are off the table. So 1 and 5.
I'd say 1. Let's see where we graduate to.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans are skipping college and taking on pay-by-the-hour work amid fears over skyrocketing tuition and student debt. And this is a great thing. If forget the fears about crippling student debt, what they should really realize is that college is a scam. First,
even with the crippling student debt set aside, college does very little to prepare you for getting a job once you graduate. They waste your time and your money by giving you what is practically busy work that has little application in the real world. Many college students are overlooked for the jobs that they've wasted 4 years studying for because they don't even meet the entry-level requirements for the job once they graduate.
Well.
Oh boy.
I went to a trade school.
So
I'm a dental hygienist. I literally came out with a job. You know, like not all college is useless. Your thoughts?
I do agree. It's dependent on a few things. It depends on your major. It depends on what you do during college. Oh boy. Like, speaking as someone who has a degree in geology, I don't have a job in the field yet. I am actively job hunting. It's been a bit of a tiring process, but that's kind of how it goes. Anyway, just it depends on a lot of factors. What do you want to do with your life? Some people go to college without knowing what they want to do, and I mean, not everyone can have everything figured out, but I feel you should have some idea of what you want to do before you go if you're going to sign up to, I don't know, college. Regardless, college costs way too much in the US. It's way too expensive.
Yeah, what she's really what the problem is that boomers, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Boomers got tons of benefits and incentives after the war. They were given free education. They were given housing. They were given jobs. They were given programs that benefited them greatly. The Ford Motor Company brought my mother's side of the family out of generational poverty, and the GI Bills and stuff for my grandfather brought them out of generational poverty. They got to live the American dream, you know, that they came from nothing. My grandfather got an education, became a chemist for Ford, earned had an amazing job, got a big retirement pension and all that kind of stuff that set him up for decades afterwards, got medical care, because he was in the military, so he got VA, like all of that kind of stuff. They got so much. And then as they were crossing that bridge where they were getting all of they were burning it as they were going, so now that these boomers have been in power, they've been in our government, and they've dismantled all of those programs so that the Gen X that came after the boomers and the millennials that came after them have literally nothing. And then because we live in a capitalist hellscape, the cost of tuition has gone up without the quality of the education also going up, without the jobs to go with those college degrees, because our minimum wage has not gone up. So you're paying more for school and getting less when you actually get a job in your field. And then our tech has changed so fast that it's hard to keep up. But they, you know, I hate that bitch. But she has sort of a boomer mentality where it's like, you know, the people before her got to have all of these benefits, and now that we don't have those benefits, now it's like it's no longer worth it to go to college. And I don't think that that's true, but I also think that people, I think that trade schools are underfunded and they're underutilized. And people have a lot of, like, millennials in particular were sold a false narrative. We were told you must go to college. If you don't go to college, you'll never get a job. Like, we were told that ad nauseum. And then because credit companies were so predatory, they, you know, currently, I couldn't get a mortgage. I mean, I've had 3 houses in the past, but I couldn't get a mortgage now. If you gave me $1 million, I still wouldn't be able to get a mortgage because the pandemic fucked my credit. So, like, you give these 18-year-olds a massive amount of debt. You know, the credit card companies wouldn't give me a credit card, but they'll give an 18-year-old a line of, you know, a $200,000 line of credit that they then have to spend decades trying to pay off, where they're making payments and they're not even making it towards the principal because the interest rates are so fucked. Like, it's just, like, it just keeps compounding. And I believe that education is very, very important, but what they're advocating for is an uneducated, huge uneducated demographic of our country, because who votes for Republicans? Like, overwhelmingly.
Generally older people and or people who live rurally.
White men on college with high school degrees overwhelmingly vote Republican. College educated people overwhelmingly vote Democrat. So the boomers that are in power have benefited from all of these programs that they've been dismantled, and then they whine and cry and you know blame our avocado toast for their fuck ups and their dismantling of those programs that we need, that we no longer have access to, and then, you know, moralizing us for not doing what they did, and, you know, lift themselves up by their bootstraps when they already had their boots on, you know, because the government gave them all of these programs. The disconnect there is really frustrating. It's very, very frustrating, and I blame boomers for all of it.
So I'm in my
early
mid. You're fine. I'm in my early mid-20s, so I'm right on the border between millennials and Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm an elder millennial.
I
seasoned, saged.
Well, just for my age bracket, a lot of us have a sort of, you know, the world is going to burn, we should enjoy life while we can mentality. Like, I think it's boiled over from the, oh, life is great, we can do anything. Then it became life is hard, what are we going to do? And now it's life sucks, when does it end?
The nihilism and the cynicism is very overwhelming, for sure.
Yeah, but like at least there's not a whole lot we can do. Like any of us who are getting into politics are just getting into politics. We have basically no power.
We have to wait for boomers to die. That's really what has to happen is
We-
that they
we-
need to
we just
die
sit
and
there
they need to
and-
get replaced by, the AOCs of the world, for any of this to change, because boomers, again, they benefited from all of this stuff, and then they won't give those same benefits to younger people, but then want to, tell us that we're not working hard enough. It's just,
And
yeah.
I will go ahead and say really quickly, I don't know if it's a hashtag, but hashtag not all boomers. But it is that they're in different generations, more widespread mentalities that result from the situations people grew up in.
Mhm.
Like my grandparents were baby boomers. They're lovely people who went through college.
My
Actually,
parents are boomers. Yeah,
They-
my parents are boomers.
they were-
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
they grew up poor. They knew how crap everything was, and they
Mhm.
helped me. Unfortunately, not everyone is like them.
right. Yeah, my parents established a bunch of stocks when I was born, and when I reached 18 and was going to college, that's what paid for my college was what had accumulated through those stocks. They planned ahead, and that's what got me an education. I pissed away a little bit of it because I went to a college that wasn't for me, and I had a quarter life crisis and had to start over again. But the idea, like, I was a chemistry major, but the idea of being a chemistry major and then coming out and being like, okay, now what do I do? Like, that was so overwhelming to me that it honestly gave me like sort of an existential crisis. What I should have done and what I didn't realize until I was, already a dental hygienist and that ship had already sailed, was that I should have gone into cosmetics. That would have been very smart, but here we are. And now I went to a trade school. I make $55 an hour. Like, I'm not doing too bad.
Oh, jeez.
Trade
Yeah,
schools
that's
are very
pretty good.
lucrative. Yeah. For what I paid for my education, I went to a community college. I got a degree. I've got a professional license. I've
Mhm.
It's a hard job. It's done a lot of damage to me mentally and physically, but once you kind of sort of get over the fact that you hate what you do, it comes around, and you sort of you end up liking it again, and then you hate it, and then you like it again. But I love teeth. I'm very geeky about teeth, but it's the people that make it difficult.
Sure.
So, that school had a nursing program and a mechanic program, an aviation mechanic program. They had it's one of the best community colleges in the state, and people came out of there making way more money than most people in having a 4-year degree that cost them 3 times as much as I paid for mine. But there was a huge, like, when I was in high school, there was sort of a denigration of community colleges where they were like, oh, you got to go to a community college. Like, they made the counselors and stuff made it sound like the community college was only for those people that like couldn't cut it in regular college, or that they, that was sort of a remediary sort of education that you went to a community college because like you flunked out, or because like your high school scores were shit or whatever. Like they didn't treat it like the legitimate education that it is. I got a much better education at my community college than I did at my private university, where the instructors only cared about their own research and wouldn't help you do jack shit. I had smaller classrooms. I had professors that really cared about what they were doing. I graduated from the best dental hygiene school in the state. And
Nice.
and it shows, you know, I get lots of kudos for my work, and I owe that to my education. And I wish to fucking hell that my high school hadn't said what they told, you know, the things that they told me about community colleges being for degenerates. Because that was really damaging. And I think that they've continued to do that. But I think that there's sort of an awakening happening where people like these women, you know, are saying like what a scam college is. I think that the real scam is that they've been telling people all these years that community colleges are shit.
I do partially agree. About a third, almost half of my degree actually came from a community college, because my school had a program where we could take online college courses with a community college. And it wasn't that bad. Then I graduated high school and I went to a larger university. It honestly, I was in the classroom, it felt like I was in a small community college because my department had next to no funding. So everyone was really close and like really good friends. But it unfortunately came with the state college price tag, which sucks. I'm paying it off. I'm going to be paying it off for the next decade or so. And I like kind of like what you were saying about a quarter life crisis. I'm sort of at a crossroads myself. Like I have this expedition this summer, and then I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing after that. Might be staying at a hotel out west for a couple months, honestly. I'm not sure. Hoping it goes well, but you never know.
Well, you need a shoulder to cry on.
Grazie.
All right, let's get to our last one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go back.
You ever wondered where all the giant trees are gone? You see the big...
Stop.
Second to last one, I guess.
This tree that we have now stands around 200 feet. All the giant trees have been...
Wait, quit it. Wait, get back. Okay.
You ever wondered where all the giant trees have gone? You see, the biggest tree that we have now stands around 200 feet. All the giant trees have been chopped down. And all that we're left with are giant tree stumps. Oh my days! Oh my diddy. At its height, this tree trunk was 2.5 miles across. The tree full grown would reach 10 miles into the sky. Oh my diddy. And what you may not be aware of is due to certain conditions and over a long period of time, wood actually becomes petrified, which means wood turns into stone. Now, before you make judgment, I want you to compare these pictures. These are pictures of trees and mountains. Is there any difference? Well, now we know certain mountains are just giant tree stumps.
Oh boy. So I've actually seen a couple of those mountains in person. I've seen what's commonly called Devil's Tower. I forget the Native American name for it, but I prefer. They are not trees.
Yeah.
Just if you go up to, and I'm not talking like with, just go up to them and look at them closely. If you feel they are rock, they are crystals. They're not even petrified wood. Petrified wood is pretty easy to recognize, really easy actually, because petrified wood preserves the internal of the wood. Well, depending on the quality of the mold. They're that main picture where he first said, "Oh my diddy," that was a plateau. That was an
Right.
eroded plateau. I
Yeah.
think you find them all over the place out west. They're mostly either volcanic rock or hard from metamorphism. They're really common.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is another it looks like a thing, so it must be a thing.
It's not though.
But it's not though. Yeah. Looks can be deceiving,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a rock, bro. It's not that deep.
That said, America did used to have a lot of larger forests. That's true.
That's
Then
true.
logging happened.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, because we live in a
We do
capitalist
still have some
hellscape.
remnants.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we do still have some remnants. Like there is Redwood National Park. Is it
I
Oregon?
want to go see that so bad. I want to hug a tree.
Yeah, like we have the redwoods in the Pacific Northwest, and there are still some older trees in some areas. You got to go
We have
hunting
live
for
oaks
'em.
here in North Carolina that are hundreds of years old.
When I was growing up, my aunt and uncle had a couple trees in there that were, I think, almost 200 years old. They were these gigantic oaks.
I got stuck in a live oak. There's a huge one in the marina, in the neighborhood that I grew up, and got too far out on a branch and got stuck in, and I was too scared to jump down. I was stuck in it for like 2 hours until I finally got the courage to jump down. I loved climbing trees when I was a kid. I used to make little
I've
forts up
been there
and
about
stuff.
climbing rocks.
Yeah. I was a monkey. Well, I suppose I still am a monkey, but we're all monkeys.
Yeah. Well, you all are. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know. It comes full circle. All right. Last one.
Shall we see our palate cleanser?
We shall indeed.
2 of the following videos are true while the other one is trash. Can you spot the fake? Let's begin.
If you place matches and string in a configuration like this, you can release your finger and it will still hold up a pretty heavy bottle, no glue necessary. If you cut the tips of matches and put them in a 2-liter bottle full of water, you can squeeze the bottle and then the match tips will rise. If you light a match, drop it in a glass bottle and then balance an egg on top of the bottle. After waiting a few moments, you can successfully pick up the bottle with the egg. You've seen all 3.
All right. Which one was fake?
I mean, I know one of them is true, and that is the hanging one. I would guess number 2 is fake, but I could be wrong. I do not know.
I think number 2 is fake too. I honestly don't know the answer. So let's discover.
3 videos now. Pause to vote in the comments which one you thought was fake. When the match goes out and the air inside the container cools, a partial vacuum is created that tries to suck the egg in. This egg was too large to get sucked in, but the suction was strong enough to lift the entire bottle. If you thought this balancing video was fake, well then you'd be wrong. That means this video is fake. The original video was in reverse. Match tips normally float in water, so squeezing the bottle compresses them, making their density slightly higher, just enough that they will now begin to sink.
I guess Titan was wrong.
We were right. Yay. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
We won. Well, that was fun. So,
Thanks for having me on.
we've got a GoFundMe for your dig. Do you want
yes.
to throw that into chat? I have donated. All of you in the chat should do the same. It's a good cause. It'll get our Dr. Dino finding dinos, making history.
Thank you very much. And yeah, the fund is for gas and maintaining my vehicle while I'm out there. I'll send the link in the chat so you can copy it into your chat. The money is also for preservation supplies in case I find any.
I'll put it in the
mineral
description too.
specimens. Oh, thank you. In case I find any good mineral specimens that I can donate to a local museum or my university. And the remainder is for food and an emergency fund, because you never know what can happen when you're out there in the desert.
Right. Break a finger or something, and because we live in a capitalist hellscape, you probably don't have health insurance. So
just a couple popsicle sticks and duct tape.
Oh God, that makes me sad. Oh man, it makes me so sad. Although, really, people ought to, if you really don't make any money, you really should look at the ACA. When I was dirt poor, I paid $30 a month for excellent insurance.
Nice.
Yeah, and the ACA website is it's very easy to navigate. They have a thing where if you already are established with a doctor or taking medications, you can put in those doctors and medications and make sure that the insurance policy that you pick will continue to cover those things. So you don't get in a situation where you picked a policy and now they don't cover this medication, or they don't, the doctor's not in a network or whatever. Because that's really kind of traumatic. I've been through that. It's very frustrating. But yeah, you should, everybody, public service announcement, the more you know. Yeah, go check out the ACA website, and if you are really truly broke, health insurance is not as pricey as you would think. Thank you, Obama.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right. Well, yes, donate. Doc, you got anything else going on? On your channel or anything?
I did mention it briefly before. I've started a new channel with some friends. We're looking at, we are looking at dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures in media and using that as an avenue for science communication.
Very cool. Very
And
cool.
we're all paleontologists in training. That's kind of the hook. And I am sharing something, if you would mind popping it up. This Monday, we are going to be talking about an anglerfish.
I love anglerfish. I will be tuning the fuck in. I love anglerfish. I think they are the coolest little beasties I have ever seen ever in my life. The little tweeter and oh my God, that whole scene in Finding Nemo, I was undone. I love that so much. Sorry, I had to geek for a moment.
You're fine. There's the link to that in the private chat. We're called the Boneheads.
Love it. There's the linky. Oh, that is fun. That is so much fun. All right.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, folks. Well, loved having you. It was a lot of fun. We went way over time, and Justin's going to scold me. I have no doubt. But we had shit to talk about, so I don't mind that. And yeah, the cat was away, so the mousies shall play. All right. Well, everybody in chat, love you, mean it. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a good one.